each other through it. Come on and see, good movement draws good movement.
Welcome to Good Movement Draws Good Movement, the podcast where farmers, ranchers, and rural folks can grow relationally through awareness, understanding, and effective communication. Hey, it's T. I'm your host, and I, along with my guests, will be covering topics related to drawing good movement. Things like self and social awareness, brain science, positive psychology, extending grace, and so much more. We'll share tools that can help you understand why you are the way you are, why others are the way they are, and how you can use that to step out of self-told lies with grace and compassion to draw good movement in conversations, relationships, and life in rural America. Let's go draw good movement. Welcome back to the Good Movement Draws Good Movement podcast. Today, we are going to review the results from some polls and questions that I posted in my Instagram stories a little while back. The polls were inspired by something that I have been reflecting on and working on in my own life, and that is receiving help. I would often decline help like that somebody was offering me. And I almost would never ask for help unless I absolutely could not figure a way to do it by myself. But even when people would offer, I would oftentimes decline what they were offering because I would think like, oh, somebody has it worse than me. Somebody needs more help than me. Like here is a really fresh example. My friend Brooke Clay Taylor, I need to get her on the podcast sometime. That just made me think of that. But my friend Brooke Clay Taylor runs the Rural Gone Urban Foundation. And the Rural Gone Urban Foundation, they do some really cool things with scholarships and grants for rural small business owners, and then love bombs for rural women who've grown breast cancers. And these love bombs are sums of money for the woman to choose to do something for herself. And when the love bomb applications opened up this fall, Brooke texts me and she's like, you should apply for this. And my gut reaction was no. My outcome was so much better than so many other people's outcome. I want to save this for somebody else. I don't need this. And then because I've been working on this, I paused and I was like, no, I can accept this help and be grateful for it should I win a love bomb. Not win, be selected to be bombed with love. And so I went ahead and applied. And I did, in fact, get a love bomb, and it is going to help pay for our 2026 trip to Terry Peak, where we ski with our friends, the Gaslings, every spring, except for last spring because I was healing still and not in any shape to go. Moral of this story is help is something that I have been working on accepting. Instead of saying, no, somebody else needs it more than me, simply saying thank you and expressing gratitude. But as I was thinking about this a few weeks ago when I did the polls in my stories, I was thinking, I bet there's other people out there in rural America, like I've witnessed it, that are so great at dropping everything to go help somebody that they see in need, and so terrible at not only asking for help for themselves, but accepting help. So I decided to, instead of just run on my hunch, I decided to go to Instagram and ask actual people about this. So my first question that I posed was, how likely are you to ask for help when you need it? And I will say I had the most responses to this question, and there were close to 90 people that responded. The other questions were closer to around 60 or 70 people answered. But this one, the most people sent me responses. How likely are you to ask for help when you need it? the answers that I had available were very likely, somewhat likely, and not likely. Only 8% of people who responded were very likely to ask for help when they needed it. 35% were somewhat likely, and 57% were not likely to ask for help when they needed it. The second question that I asked in the poll was, if someone offers you actually helpful help, how likely are you to accept it? And I put the actually helpful in there because sometimes we're so eager to help that what we're offering maybe isn't exactly what the person needs. So I put the actually helpful part in there. Again, very likely, somewhat likely, and not likely were the answers that people could respond with. 25% were very likely to accept help if it was actually helpful. And 65% were somewhat likely, 10% not likely. 75% of respondents may not accept help that's actually helpful. I want to say it's shocking to me, but it's not, because I was right there. I'm still working on that. I'm still working on accepting help. We're a little better at accepting help than we are at asking for it, but still most people are on the fence, we'll say. So the third question I asked was, how likely are you to extend help to others if you see they need it? 72% of respondents are very likely to extend help to others if they see they need it. 28% are somewhat likely, and 0% said they were not likely to help if they saw someone who needed it. So what that tells me is that we are great. We are fantastic at giving help. Asking for it or accepting it, that is a totally different story. We are willing, or so the polls show, we are willing to drop everything for someone in need. But when we're in need, suddenly it feels like too much, too inconvenient, too vulnerable to ask. Along with the poll questions, I did ask a write-in question where people had to actually write to me. And I asked, if you answered somewhat or not likely, when I asked about how likely are you to ask for help, if you answered somewhat or not likely, what holds you back from asking for help? And I got a fair amount of responses and reasons. And when I was going through them, they sort of all fell into a handful of themes. And each one of those ties back to a core belief. So the first category we're going to talk about is fear of burdening others. People sent things like, everyone's overwhelmed. I'd be burdening busy people if I asked for help. I don't want to inconvenience anyone. Everyone needs help, so I don't want to take up their time. And these answers and reasons stem from a core belief that other people's needs matter more than mine. And I'd be lying if I said that I didn't fall into that category, because I just told you that I did. The second category is self-reliance, independence, should thinking. So some of the things that were said here were, I should be able to do it by myself. I was raised to do things on my own. I want it done my way. I'm frustrated that I even have to ask and that people don't see I need help. And the core belief here is that strong people don't need help, ever. That if you're strong, you should be able to do it all on your own. And we kind of pick that up, right? We watch our parents, grandparents make their way in the world. We don't see them asking for help, or even other people that we observe. We don't see a lot of people asking for help out here in rural places and spaces. So we form this belief that if you're strong, you don't need to ask for help. You should be able to take care of yourself all on your own. The next theme is shame and fear of judgment. And I just want to preface this with some of the responses that came in on this one absolutely broke my heart. Absolutely broke my heart. People said fear of judgment, feeling inadequate. I was made fun of for asking for help. Coworkers belittled me. The core belief here is if people see me struggle, they'll think less of me. The next theme is pride and stubbornness. So people wrote in, pride is what keeps me from asking for help. I'm stubborn. Someone wrote in, what keeps me from asking for help? Me. The core belief is that asking threatens the identity that has been built around being capable. So people sometimes don't want to ask for help because they've built this identity around being the one that can do all the things and never needs anyone to do anything for them or to help them. And so that's what holds them back. The next theme is trust and nervous system stuff. But to be fair, all of these themes can be tied back to our nervous system because there are things that have happened that have shaped the way we make our way in the world. And so I would argue that all of this is nervous system, but these were obviously nervous system things. So I've got to trust people to open up and ask for help. It's a habit. I don't know. I'm currently untangling this. I need an invitation to ask for help. The core belief here is I'm not totally sure receiving help is emotionally safe for me. And I guess where I might argue that all of these can be tied back to nervous system stuff, I would say also that probably all of these can be tied back to being unsure if asking for and receiving help is emotionally safe. But when our nervous systems react, respond, protect us in certain ways for so long, then our bodies remember that. And we continue to respond, react in those ways. So the 5 sort of themes were fear of burdening others, over self-reliance and independence, shame and fear of judgment, pride and stubbornness, and trust and nervous system stuff. And then the deeper roots beneath all of those themes are things like fear of being a burden, generational conditioning around self-reliance, shame from past experiences. And like I said, this all could boil down to nervous system, but a nervous system that doesn't feel safe being supported. And none of this is weakness. It's how we've learned to survive and make our way through the world. And in a lot of cases, we act this way. We don't ask for help. We brush off receiving help because it's what we watched the adults in our lives do as we were growing up. We learned how to make our way in this way. We learned that it wasn't okay to ask for help, that we had to figure out a way to do it ourselves, that there were other people who needed more than us. Did anyone else hear there's starving kids in another country that need food, so you better eat your food? That sends the message that there's always somebody that has it worse than you. And so don't ask for help because they need it worse than you, which they may need help too. That does not negate the fact that you also need help. So, this all started by my reflection on my own journey with asking for and receiving help. And I'm not going to lie, receiving help still feels a little foreign to me, but I am practicing accepting it and saying thank you instead of declining it and saying, no, I'm fine. Or, nope, somebody else needs it worse than me, so go give it to them. I'm working on letting people show up for me. I'm also working on recognizing that receiving help doesn't mean that someone else needed it less or there wasn't somebody else who couldn't have used it. It just means that I am allowing people to bless me and letting that connection happen. I'm learning that saying yes doesn't take anything away from anyone. It actually lets people be a part of my life in a meaningful way. So if you are like me and have a problem asking for help and receiving it, like honestly, receiving it was pretty hard too. But if you're like me, I want to leave you with a few things to mull over, ruminate on. Independence and self-reliance are good. Isolation, not so much. And when we don't allow people to help us, when we don't ask for help when we need it, essentially that's what we're doing. We're isolating ourselves. Also, strength isn't needing nothing. It's being honest enough to say when you're at capacity and ask for help. Let me say that again. Strength isn't needing nothing. It's being honest enough to say when you're at capacity. Help, it's not charity. It's connection. And when we deny others the opportunity to help us, we're denying that connection. We're denying them the opportunity to bless us. So, having listened to this now, are there some of these core beliefs that resonated with you that you're like, oh yeah, feel that? Where do you kind of see yourself? Like, are you very likely to ask for help? Are you not likely to? Where do you see yourself there? And then the last reflection question I want to leave you with is, what's one tiny way that you could let someone help you this week, this month, this year? And with that, until next time, draw a good movement. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm so grateful for you. If you found value in this episode, I'd love for you to share with others who might also benefit from tuning in. Share by word of mouth, send it in a text, take a screenshot and post it on social media, or share however you prefer. And if you haven't already, hit the follow or subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Until next time, draw good movement.